Hello, I'm Frankie.
And I'm Cheyenne.
And we are
Conbini Cult.
Welcome to another episode.
Yeah.
We've got a heated topic today.
Oh, yeah. It's very bad.
Bad teachers, actually.
Oh, yes.
So, we're going to
talk about it. And not Bad Teachers, the movie from like 2009 with Cameron Diaz. Not that one. Like actual bad criminals. Yeah. But
we're going to be talking about crimes from all kinds of teachers. I did my best to find a variety of teacher criminals, like Japanese teachers that have done wrong, foreign teachers that have done wrong as well.
Yeah.
And then some male and female perpetrators as well.
Yeah. You didn't discriminate. You definitely got a good group of all kinds of people and from all over Japan too, which is kind of nuts. But it is a nationwide problem. Yeah. Unfortunately. Worldwide problem, probably.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, again, like we always talk about Japan because we live here. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure these types of things are not unique to Japan. They happen all over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But before we get into that, how was your week? Any updates?
Some little life updates.
Yeah.
Not really, except that. So my birthday is next week,
Woo!
November 14th. It'll probably be past that by the time this episode is uploaded. Well,
happy birthday from the past.
Thank you.
Yeah. How old will you be?
I will be 33.
Woo! Do you know when your yakudoshi is? Your like unlucky year in
Isn't
Japan?
It 31?
I think it depends on what year you're born and like if you're like what your gender is and everything too. So mine was like my first bad one was 25, I think. Oh. And then like I think my like really, really bad one is 35 or 6 or something like that. Like it's coming. So yeah. But
I think my yakudoshi was 31, so that's in the past.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Good.
That was
it pretty bad?
I mean, it could always be worse, I suppose. But that was not a very good year. I think the next one's like 45.
Okay,
so
good.
I got some time to relax.
You got some time to prepare and relax. Yeah. Well, that's good. That was already like finished then. Usually like I think 34 or 33 is like a common one too I hear, but I don't know anything.
Yeah, we'll see. But
happy birthday!
Thank you.
Yeah,
still Scorpio season. I mean, we're both Scorpios.
We're both Scorpios.
But you're an October Scorpio, and I'm a November one. So.
Does that change a lot? Or I feel like October Scorpios, my bias are a lot more. I don't know, witchy, bitchy, like dark, emotional. Is that different?
Mine are maybe a bit darker.
Darker. Ooh, darker.
Just based on what we like about Halloween.
I see.
You like cute, spooky.
I'm a cute, spooky, witchy kind of Scorpio for sure. And I'm sure nobody cares about this, I'm going to ask, but what do you know what your like rising is? Like your big 3?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I would have to look at the... What's that app?
No. What is it? What is that app about? Astrology.
CoStar?
Yes.
I always have to check that app. I don't know.
No. Yeah. Did we talk about this? I used to have that app, but then it would give me my horoscope and it was like, today's going to be a bad day. Or like, here's like why your relationships are like all bad. And then I was like, yeah, you're right. And then so I would like read it before having the day. And then it like just would affect how my whole day turned out. So I had to like stop using it because it kept getting like in my feels. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't really check it unless I'm going through something already and I'm like, you're
right. Yeah, you're right. Okay. I see. Exciting though. Happy birthday. Another year around the sun. Yeah.
And you went to the concert that you told us about before.
Yeah. So
you got the tickets for?
I did. I got the tickets for Atarashi Gakko Leaders. So they're a group based in Japan. It's for ladies and they just sing a lot of like, I don't even know what their genre is, like pop, techno pop, kind of rock-y, but their whole shtick is like youth, like seishun, and going kind of like against typical Japanese society and like schoolhood and things like that. So they're super fun. So I went to their concert. thanks for answering my text about if you wanted to go or not. I'm sorry, we're gonna go.
Yeah, I would have gone, but I had plans.
No worries. I texted Frankie like super last minute, like, do you want to go? But it was.
But I did listen to them after you mentioned them.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I found some songs
They're
like.
Fun. I love them so much, and they're one of those where like I kind of listened to them, I liked them, and then after I went to their concert, my like life was changed. And now, if they ever have any concerts in the future, I like want to go to every single one. They're such great performers. They're insane.
It seems like it.
They're just like on social media too. Like if you just see them on TV or in videos, they're already very like high energy and just like fun to watch. But then when you see that in person, it was, I don't know, they're just like great performers. Like the choreography, the lighting, everything about their concert was just like so great. So if you ever have a chance to like see them or just check them out on YouTube, they're wonderful. But they also just came back from like a world tour, and their last stop was North America and like LA and stuff. And I'm kind of curious, like you can kind of tell they were trying to bring back the Western like concert vibe to Japan, because they were like, yeah, like stand up. And like based on who they are as performers, I think their audience also is kind of like more energetic. But concerts in Japan are very like calm, and no one is like singing along. And like you're actually not allowed to take videos in a lot of concerts in Japan too. So like, which is nice because everyone's in that moment. But
not the sea of phones.
Yeah. But like, so no phones. Everyone's just like calmly like fist pumping and stuff. And then I was like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Do you think the concert dynamics have changed post-pandemic? Because I haven't really been to anything since 2019.
No, they definitely haven't changed. I think Japan has always been pretty like calm and I don't want to say like more respectful, but just like different concert manners in the US versus here. Because I did attend a Summer Sonic in 2018. And Summer Sonic has like different stages with all kinds of performers. And everyone was just like attentively listening, almost just like bobbing their head. And then the headliner for that Summer Sonic was Chance the Rapper. And you can tell he was getting kind of like frustrated because no one was like singing along. Granted, I'm sure a lot of the audience couldn't like keep up or didn't know the words to his lyrics. But like you could tell, like, I think Sam Smith as well. This was like back in 2019, 2018. A lot of Western performers that I've attended here in Japan, you can sense a slight frustration, or almost kind of like they're like really trying hard to like get the crowd to be like hype and sing. And then everyone's just like listening like very politely. But this concert was very energetic. So I was kind of curious. Yeah, I wonder if they missed that. But yeah, it was good. Anyway, that's my update. Sorry. It was very long.
Sounds fun. Maybe I'll catch them next time.
Let's go next time. Yeah. They're super fun. Anyway.
Anywho, so
moving on. We got to move on.
Back to the bad teachers.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So my usual disclaimer.
Bring it.
So yeah, I already said I found a mix of like Japanese and foreign teachers and stuff, and creeps can be anywhere. But I think if we ever have merch, we should put this on the merch.
Yes, I want it so bad.
You can love Japan and not defend crimes.
Yeah. Simple as that. I think that's fair to have on a t-shirt.
Just because we're talking about crimes doesn't mean we don't love living here. I think you know that deep down in your heart, but just to remind you.
Yeah. Drop a comment below if you would buy it. If you would wear it even. Yeah, I would. On like a hat too. I want a hat and a shirt.
I'll wear it anyway.
Yeah. I'll tattoo it on my forehead.
Oh my gosh.
And then lift it up like Harry Potter when he shows his scar. Okay.
If you sense the last samurai coming, like, just lift up the bang. The bucket hat.
Bucket hat, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So the first one, so we had touched on this briefly in a previous episode. I don't remember how we got on the topic, but there was an incident in 2019.
Okay.
I think, about a teacher in Kobe at an elementary school who was being like severely bullied by his colleagues.
We did talk about this a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So we have the details of it.
Okay.
So this is all of the articles that we're referencing will be linked below if you're interested in reading them. But basically, so it says the teacher who is in his 20s and a member staff at Higashi Suma Elementary School in Kobe, Western Japan, described abuse including being throttled to the point that he had difficulty breathing and having spicy curry rubbed into his eyes. So other things were like them putting him in a chokehold and forcing him to eat spicy curry.
Yeah, and this is teachers teacher on teacher crime. Like,
yeah. So it was 4 teachers.
Yeah, they're adults.
Adult teachers.
Yeah.
Adult teachers. 3 of them in their 30s, 3 men in their 30s, and 1 woman in her 40s.
Oh.
These are the bullies.
You pick me. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were incidents like inside of the school and outside of the school, them like
gross.
Hitting him, degrading him. Yeah, warned against him coming to observe lessons on the grounds because he would make the classroom dirty.
Wait, did you mention this already? I'm sorry if I missed it. Is he a lot younger than the other teachers?
He's in his 20s.
Okay, so it's like hazing basically then.
Yeah. Probably a newer teacher. Yeah. And then they also made him send like obscene messages to other younger female teachers too.
What the hell?
Yeah, the victim was reportedly slapped almost every day, had his face pushed toward a kettle filled with boiling water, had his jeans torn, among other bullying. He was also reportedly subjected to verbal abuse, including that his father was scum, had water dripped onto handouts he was going to give students.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a nightmare.
Well, it's a nightmare, and it's just sick because, like, it's not like these are, like, college fraternity bros or, like, finance bros that are bullying or hazing people. These are educators. Grown adults. They're grown adults.
And educators. And what kind of example is that?
They educate the youth, or they're supposed to, at least. Like, these are the people who are in charge, at least for, 7 to 8 hours of the day, molding the minds of young children. And here they are just being complete a-holes to their fellow coworkers. Like, what is that about? Like, okay, sorry, I got a little heated, but that's nasty.
Yeah. So after, the public started to become aware of this, people started looking into the teachers more and found like other bad things that they have done. So there is another article titled Kobe teacher accused of bullying colleague broke student's arm 3 years ago.
Oh my God. Okay. So this teacher has just like violent behavior, like past violent behavior.
Yeah, to obviously. Coworkers, to students, to everybody. So yeah, one of the 4 elementary school teachers in this western city of Kobe accused of bullying their colleague is reported to have broken a student's arm 3 years ago, the Mainichi Shimbun has learned. According to the Kobe Municipal Board of Education, a male teacher in his 30s at Higashisuma Elementary School, one of those 4 teachers, broke a 6th grade student's right arm during PE in May 2016. The teacher grabbed the student by the arm when he tried to enter a volleyball court and pushed him out of the court, telling him, "You don't have to play." The child then fell, breaking his arm.
Oh my God.
The school apologized to his parents for the incident, and the education board warned the teacher, but did not report it to police.
Yeah, it's very common.
It has been reported that parents of students at the school are filing complaints about the 4 teachers. One of the teachers, a woman in her 40s, reportedly told at least one student, "I hate you." She is also accused of suddenly pulling a chair from another student, causing them to fall and hit their head. The education board is investigating these reports.
What?
Like, what is wrong?
What is
like?
Yeah, like
to say that to anybody, but like an elementary school child.
Yeah, like you have to be sick to like want to become a teacher for the intent of like trip. Bullying others. Yeah, it's definitely like some like Pawahara for sure. But like, yeah, it's really gross because I think people, who already have ill intentions from the start, and then you decide to become in a position like a caregiver or a nurse or a teacher, it's like so clear you're there for like control and power. And so like, I don't know, that is wild. Like at your big age, you're 40. Like, what are you doing? Like bullying a 6th grader, and for what, And so you said after it became public knowledge, they started, like, is there any information about like, were they posting this stuff to social media, or like maybe,
I think so.
Maybe, or like, through word of mouth, the kids are like, "I hate this sensei." And then like it gets around. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's like the teacher who broke the kid's arm 3 years ago. Is this the same guy?" Like, I'm sure it just kind of spread that way, I'm assuming. But
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The Kobe mayor at the time, I don't know if he's still the mayor because this was 2019, but he's quoted as saying, "I'm infuriated. The education board's governance is lacking."
Yeah, it is. That's an understatement.
So I did a bit more digging to find out if they actually had any consequences for what they were doing. Because they always say like, "Oh, the board is looking into it."
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
What? Okay. So initially, they were just put on paid leave.
Paid leave? Paid?
Yes.
Okay.
And then their pay was suspended after people complained about that. They're like, are you kidding me? Yeah. The residents
Good.
of Kobe were complaining about this.
What do you mean paid leave?
So then they were suspended without pay.
Mm-hmm.
But then Kobe City deemed that this punishment was illegal to withhold their pay.
You know what's illegal? Like breaking kids' arms.
Yeah.
And shoving curry powder in coworkers' faces and beating them. I'm pretty sure that's a crime too. But okay. Go off.
So I found another article discussing that and said both men are in their 30s. So I guess only 2 of the teachers really got consequences. Disciplinary action was taken in February 2020 with 1 dismissed and the other receiving a 1/10 pay cut for 3 months.
3 months? Okay.
1/10 pay cut is nothing.
Yeah. That's such a small percentage. So like because I'm bad at math, they're getting 90% of their pay still. Is that what it means? Yeah.
And it's only for 3 months. Okay. But the one who was dismissed, like I couldn't really find what that meant. Was he fired? I somehow doubt that he was barred from teaching. Like a lot of times they just transfer teachers.
That's very common in Japan, unfortunately, is people, teachers who do, actions like that, they're never, from what I know and from what I've heard and read, they're never really fired. They're just fired from that school, if anything, but you still have a teaching license. And if anything, they probably just wait a little bit and then move schools or move cities or whatever. And they're still teaching. Yeah.
Yeah. They might be dismissed and like not work for a little bit, but after some time, they might just be at another school. Yeah.
Dismissed definitely does not sound like they're banned or whatever, like it doesn't sound heavy, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on another note, I found an article from April of last year called Teacher Moonlighting as Bar Host Arrested in Nagoya.
Okay. Tell me more.
So basically, I'll just summarize it. So the teacher was working part-time, like 20 hours a week at a school. So as a full-time teacher, there are restrictions about like
working part-time?
Yeah, like working at other places or like I assume the types of industries you could also do part-time work at as well. But he was only 20 hours a week and only part-time. He was not like a seishun. So those rules didn't apply to him.
Oh, okay.
But he was... Okay, I guess I'll read. I guess I'll read a little bit of the article.
Yes, please.
I'm not very good at summarizing, but want to go to a host bar? That was the question a host in his 20s asked a woman as she was walking down the street in an entertainment district of Nagoya. Unbeknown to him, the woman was actually a plainclothes police officer out on patrol, but it turns out the man had an initially unapparent identity as well. He's a junior high school teacher. So essentially, he was arrested because of the way that he was soliciting customers.
Bar? Yeah.
Yeah, not the fact that he was working at a host bar.
Oh, okay, I see.
It's the way that he was soliciting customers.
I see,
That's why the undercover cop got him.
I see, okay. Well, then that's not as bad as I thought. I thought they were just arresting him because he was working at a host bar.
No. Yeah. So actually, like what...
Yes.
So actually, what I had mentioned before about him not being a full-time teacher, like it was technically okay for him to be working at a host bar, but he lost the teaching job because he was arrested.
Yeah, I see.
And he was arrested not because he was a host, but because he was soliciting people on the street in a way that you are not allowed to.
I see. What a very complicated arrest, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well... on a positive note, I guess, he wasn't breaking any rules in terms of working at a host bar because he was just like part-time. Yes. But okay, so that's good to know because I was going to get into the conversation of like what I see a lot is teachers who are getting in trouble or getting fired for having an OnlyFans. And it's usually like the parents who discover the OF and then they report it. But it's like... You gonna admit that like you're watching the OF? Like, not who's at fault, but also like, should it be kind of like, are they breaking any rules? Should it be a don't ask, don't tell kind of situation? Or like, so I thought that was kind of falling in the line with this, Yeah,
I guess that was a series of unfortunate events for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, getting arrested and then losing his other job because he was arrested.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of refreshing to hear as a guy working at a host bar too. I was like, oh, well, that's nice. It's not a lady teacher. Usually people are a lot more judgmental about that. Yeah.
Well, we will have a deep dive eventually about hosts clubs and stuff. And it's pretty dark.
Oh, for sure.
I will warn you.
Okay.
It's dark.
Excited for that day.
Yeah. What? It's another very random thing. So.
Oh, here we are.
A couple months ago.
Okay.
It is titled English Teacher Arrested Over Violent Home Invasion. What? You want to read this one? It's pretty short.
Sure. So back in September in Tokyo, an Australian male English conversation instructor has been arrested on suspicion of breaking into a house in Shinjuku Ward, Tokyo, and attempting to steal cash while holding an elderly resident at knife point. The suspect, Otto Daniel Matthew, 31. Let me start that over. Oh, it's so Japanese. Okay. Otto. Like, wow,
you gotta keep it.
Let me start that over. Cut that out.
Otto Daniel Matthew.
That was embarrassing. Okay. The suspect, Otto Daniel Matthew, 31, is alleged to have broken into the two-story house through the balcony in June and attempted to rob a male resident in his 70s, slashing the victim with a knife, causing minor injuries to his head. Otto reportedly threatened the male resident in broken Japanese, "Do you have money?" but fled empty-handed once the resident began fighting back. Yeah! According to the Tokyo Metropolitan Police, Otto came to Japan in March last year and worked as an English conversation instructor. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police identified Otto, who lives about 400 meters away, keep it close to home, I guess, using surveillance camera footage. He denies the allegations, claiming, "I haven't done anything." Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Dang, how, strapped on cash do you have to be to, rob an old man? That's sad.
Yeah,
but he was cut.
At least that guy, so he just had minor injuries to his head.
Yeah.
So it was not fatal, but still,
dude,
what the heck?
What the heck? Also, I love how the guy fought back, and then he just gave up. He, ran away. But also, 400 meters from your home, that's your neighbor. Obviously, they're going to identify you probably, especially if you're the only or one of the only foreigners in that neighborhood. Yeah you're going to be identified,
What was going through his mind?
I don't know. That is gnarly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got another bizarre one involving a foreign English teacher.
No! Okay.
It is titled, English Teacher Arrested in Japan for Smuggling Cannabis Oil Inside Hair Treatment Bottles.
Oh, okay.
So June of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Despite cannabis becoming more widely accepted in many countries around the world, in Japan it's still considered a major crime to have or use any amount. It wasn't until just last month that laws concerning medicinal marijuana were even considered to be relaxed, which is why it's of the utmost importance to stay far away from the substance while in Japan, and especially not be part of mailing it around the country. Unfortunately, that's exactly what one American English teacher from Tsukuba City in Ibaraki Prefecture did, helping to smuggle cannabis oil inside hair treatment bottles. The 43-year-old English conversation school teacher, Richard Thomas Gonzalez Melharejo, was arrested in April in a hotel in Ibaraki Prefecture. He was found with about 2 kilograms of cannabis oil hidden inside hair treatment bottles. He was suspected of receiving the parcel of smuggled goods at the hotel and planning to ship it out. A search of his home found 5 more kilograms of cannabis oil, which resulted in him being further charged of possession with intent to sell. The value of the 7 kilograms of cannabis oil comes to about 280 million yen.
Oh.
Around $2.5 million. And is suspected of being part of a larger organization.
Oh, okay. So this wasn't a silly willy-nilly I use cannabis oil for to relax and I didn't realize it was bad. It's maybe a possible smuggling cartel situation, maybe, or I don't know, cartel, but organization. That is insane.
I don't know anything about cannabis oil.
Yeah,
I'm so innocent.
You stole my line. I was like, I don't know what cannabis is. I've never smoked weed before, but yeah, no, for real though. What is cannabis oil used for? Because
and why is it so valuable?
That's what I was gonna say. Cannabis oil, I was gonna assume it's kind of like CBD oil. You use it for to relax or if you have pain or something.
I thought of CBD oil, which you can get here
in Japan, which I know CBD and THC and cannabis, they're all different things. So like, is it just because it's cannabis, it's like so bad here? I don't know. I don't know anything about drugs. But if you know, let us know. Because yeah, the value of that was insane. I was not expecting 2.5 million
I was
USD.
so shocked. Well,
in shampoo.
That's very suspicious.
Yeah, because if it's in shampoo, like again, what are they using it for? No, I'm not gonna get into it because like I don't know. I was gonna say like, do you like use it for dabs? Like, is it something to smoke? Like, or is it like an oil like to ingest? Like, I don't know. I don't know because I don't know. I don't know because I don't do that.
So innocent. I don't know.
I've
never heard of
cannabis.
What is that?
I don't know. No, but for real, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That is a whole.
For real, I don't know, and for real, that is crazy.
Like for real, that is a whole organization going on. Okay.
Alrighty.
Make your money. Get that bag legally. Okay.
Okay. I did find, because I was also trying to find things involving like female teachers that have done some things. Yeah. So there was an alarming amount of articles about abuse at nurseries.
Yeah, that's always a big one, unfortunately. I see that one on like the news a lot, like on TV and stuff. It's so sad.
Yeah, there's stuff in this article about just the issue in general. This is an NHK article that I'm looking at. So a welfare ministry survey found there were 345 cases of abuse at children's care facilities in the fiscal year 2019.
Oh, man. So, 345 in 1 year?
In 1 year. Yeah. Okay. So they do put something in the article about, trying to like rationalize it. I mean, of course, nothing makes it okay to hurt kids, but they're just citing some reasons why teachers would be stressed
and like maybe have a breakdown or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So legally, the ratio of students to teachers, it's really bad.
Yeah.
I've worked at nursery schools.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have, huh?
Yeah. So they say for babies under 12 months, it's 3 to 1 teacher. Which
this is the legal amount or the average amount currently?
Legal.
Okay.
Legal amount.
Okay.
And then for 1 to 2 year olds, 6 kids to 1 teacher. So like so far,
that's
okay. 3-year-olds, 20 kids per teacher.
That is nuts. That is a jump.
4 to 5-year-olds, 30 kids for 1 teacher.
For 1 teacher, that's insane. Yeah. When I worked in a junior high school, it was like 35 kids for 1 teacher, but those are like teenagers sitting down in a class and they were still rowdy, you know?
Yeah,
like
not little ones running around.
Running around, like, you know, they probably, because 4 to 5, I assume 4 to 5-year-olds are at least potty trained, but that's not something you can just like let them go off. You know, like you have to watch every single kid at all times. Yeah. Getting into stuff, probably putting stuff in their mouth they shouldn't. You know, it's a very stressful age. All of these babies to 5 years old at least. That is nuts. 30? I didn't know that was the legal age, it's really bad. Ratio. Yeah. Okay.
At one of my preschool jobs in Tokyo, like I had the class of like 1.5 years to 2.
God, that's so young.
And it was 6 kids to 1 teacher, but like when there were 7 kids, they'd be like, well, what can you do?
Yeah.
Why not? So I remember there was one day where like, because we also didn't get lunch breaks at this school. This is the school that I reported.
Okay.
Successfully.
Wait, with the alcoholic owner?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That one. Yeah, so there was one day where like we were all having lunch and like toddlers are really messy when they eat.
Oh, so, yeah, they're disgusting.
Like, one kid has like stepped on their onigiri, so their foot is full of rice, and then another kid threw up. And during this time, I'm also expected to eat my lunch too, while also feeding them. Yeah. So I was just crying with these 7 kids.
I don't know. Yeah. They just go up to you like, I threw up. You're like, okay, I don't know what
We're all crying.
We're all crying.
All 8 of us are crying.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that ratio is pretty bad. I feel like a man made these rules.
Oh, yeah, they definitely do not know. Like, it's some, like, basically just business owner, man, who has no, maybe children, or if he did, he had no part in, like, helping out and realizing how much it takes for one parent to one child. Problem. What do you mean 35-year-olds to one parent? That's nuts. And, like, to backtrack on your job, and this isn't like judgment or a dig on you, but like, are you certified in like childcare?
No.
Right? So isn't that kind of gnarly? How you were
I
like,
think
you
so.
had the responsibility to take like 1 to 2, that's a big age. Like a lot of things can go wrong because babies like don't talk. Like you can't know what's wrong with them unless you're like maybe a nurse or something sometimes, you know? And so like that's a lot of responsibility on you, you know?
Yeah,
like,
that was not in the job description. And like
Yeah.
at that job I also had to, you know, change the diapers and stuff too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I was with them from like 9 to 2:30 or whatever when they went home, and then part of that was also like eating lunch with them, which a lot of them
Cleaning
have to be
up after
fed, cleaning up
them,
after them, changing their
changing,
diapers. Some of them were getting potty trained,
Yeah.
so like crazy.
Oh man.
So I don't think my situation was unique. I'm sure there are a lot of teachers who also have a lot of kids that they're looking after. And they also say in this article how it's a really understaffed industry.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure the pay sucks.
Pay sucks. There's probably just not a lot of like people who want to do it, or just people in general. There's a rapid decline in young people, like young working class people in Japan as well. So yeah. And so in terms of abuse, is it like baby shaking, hitting, or is it more so neglect because they can't pay attention, or is it like stress-induced abuse? I'm sure it's all of the above, but...
Yeah, so some of the examples they cite are police arrested 3 female staff on December 4th in Shizuoka Prefecture, where between June and August of whatever year this was, they allegedly held toddlers upside down, hit their heads, and even threatened them with knives.
Oh my God.
What?
Oh my God. That's like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to defend those women, but like, was that just a result of like a psychotic break, or like were they just insane from the start? It kind of falls into those 3 bullies, those 3 crazy teachers at the junior or the elementary school we talked about. Like, like it's scary to, you know, I understand parents who put their children in daycare, like there's a reason, right? Maybe they have to work or whatever. And I'm not judging on that, but like it's scary because you truly, unless it's like family or whatever, sometimes family, you don't know either, but like these are like strangers technically who are like in charge of your kids. It's kind of scary. Yeah. So that's so unfortunate, and I'm not blaming the parents at all. It should be the caregiver's duty to take care, but like that sucks. So yeah, that's so sad.
It also says in Toyama City, central Japan, 2 female workers in their 20s were suspected of assaulting children at a care center by dragging them and poking them with a stick, among other acts.
What is wrong with you? In your 20s?
Yeah.
You had so much time to like build all that stress up. You're so not to be like ageist, but I was gonna say you're so young to like not be so weird. What do you mean? Poking with a stick? You sicko?
Yeah. And then another one in the northeastern city of Sendai, staff at a daycare center were accused of forcing children to eat in nothing but their underwear.
Oh, that's nasty. That is actually sick. I hope that, not to make assumptions, I really hope the reason for that is only because kids are dirty and they make a mess and they're like, F it. You're gonna like get your clothes dirty anyway. Just eat in your underwear because we can clean you up easier versus like cleaning your clothes. Not saying it's okay. I just really hope that was the only reason and there wasn't any like other nasty intention behind that. That's all I'm going to say. All right.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah, that's sick.
Just a little too. Yeah, that is what I could find about like the primary thing I could find about female teachers.
Yeah.
Here's another random one.
Oh!
Teacher arrested for mixing bleach into curry for elementary school kids.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to read this? It's not too long.
Okay, so this one is in Saitama Prefecture. An elementary school teacher who harbored a grudge was arrested on suspicion of mixing bleach into curry about to be served to young children. Saitama Prefectural Police on September 16th announced the arrest of Ayana Hanzawa, 24, on suspicion of forcible obstruction of business. Hanzawa is a teacher at the city-run Mizutani Higashi Elementary School. According to the investigative sources, she was annoyed at having been removed as a teacher in charge of a class and mixed the bleach into a large pot of curry that was to be served to pupils in the class she oversaw until March. The child in charge of serving the curry thought it smelled bad, so no one ate it. There were no reports of of children falling ill. Good on that kid.
Yeah.
Great nose.
Smart.
I would have never noticed, especially as a kid, to notice bleach. Anyway. Hanzawa was put in charge of a different class this school year. Wait, was that like after the incident, or like she was put in charge of another class and she wanted to take
after the incident.
What the hell? Okay. Prefectural police will further investigate the type of bleach used. Does it matter? As well as the amount mixed. Does that matter? Into determine if suspicion of attempted murder should be applied to the case. The pot holding the curry was placed outside of the classroom between 11:15 a.m. and 12:20 p.m. on September 16th, according to the police. By mixing the bleach into the curry, Hanzawa interfered with normal school operations by forcing teachers to confirm if any children had become sick, police said. Police investigating serious crimes often initially arrest a suspect on a relatively minor charge to give them time to flesh out details of the case.
Okay, I get that they need to flesh out the details of the case, but putting her in charge of another classroom?
Yeah, that's gnarly.
After she put bleach into food.
Who's to say she's not going to do that to, like, her current set of kids? Yeah. How would, like, I'm surprised... Well, I don't know how much, like, parents are involved, but, like, I'm surprised there was no, like, riot over that from parents or from other teachers. Like, what do you mean? So, like, you have these coworkers
I wouldn't want to work with that lady.
Yeah, like, who know this person did something like that, and you're just like, well, she's in another class now. I guess it's okay. Like, how are you not standing up for your kids that you teach and, like, doing anything you can to get this lady to leave the school? She literally tried to poison kids, like... It doesn't, and they're, like, investigating the amount of bleach and what kind of bleach.
Yeah, like if it was enough bleach to kill them.
Which I understand, because, like, yeah, those are different charges. Like, I assume poisoning versus murder, but also it's bad either way. Like, let's not.
Either way, she should be fired.
Yeah. Okay.
That was in 2022, by the way.
Oh, I wonder if there's an update on that. But I don't know how, like, long investigations and trials take here.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could take a while.
Yeah. Gross.
Okay. So, I did hear that, if teachers, like, commit crimes, a lot of times they just get transferred and not fired.
Yeah.
Or they take a bit of time off and then they just go to another school. So, it kind of sent me down a rabbit hole. Yeah. And this is the point where I will give our trigger warning.
Okay.
About assaults against children, SA. So.
And CSA.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. So we have from October of last year, cram school teacher arrests ignite child safety debate. So basically, there was a female cram school teacher, 26 years old, and her colleague, a male cram school teacher, 24. So according to investigators, Narumi Nakamura, 26, allegedly had a 7-year-old elementary school student stand on a chair where they were alone in the room for a lesson. Colleague Sosho Mori, 24, who had previously been arrested for taking inappropriate photos of other girls, took pictures with his smartphone from underneath the student's skirt. This child is 7.
That's so messed up. And that child is never going to recover from that, too.
The Metropolitan Police Department also served a separate arrest warrant to Mori for accessing students' personal information in the Yotsuya Otsuka database. I guess that's the name of the school. And sharing names, addresses, where they go to school in a group chat in violation of the personal information law. So the cram school is for students studying for junior high entrance exams. So I guess it's, elementary school kids prepping for middle school. The school is also facing charges over lax personal information management, with the case sent to prosecutors. Ugh, this is so disgusting. He's quoted as saying. I don't really want to say it.
What a nasty... Okay. Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay, so Mori, the person charged, they said, because the student was cute, I couldn't win against my sexual desires.
disgusting.
Yeah, that's not an excuse or a reason. Shut up. And this person was fired before, right? Or they were reported before for taking inappropriate photos of children?
Yeah, he had previously been arrested. And then somehow this guy ends up at a cram school for elementary school students.
Again, it just shows like how little action or punishment is actually taken against crimes like this. And Frankie was saying, teachers usually just get transferred to another school. And a lot of the times it's within the same prefecture, sometimes the same city, to be honest. And that's just, I don't know, such a gross, big problem.
Yeah, so I was kind of looking up, like, is it possible for teachers to be reinstated after being arrested for this kind of stuff? So it seems that they are trying to make new laws about it. So in 2022, there's an article from Asahi Shimbun, rules to tighten on pedophile teachers seeking reinstatement. So the bill passed in the Diet in May 2021. So they're trying to make some like database about it and maybe like doing background checks on teachers too. But I'm not positive if that database is available to the public.
Oh, like how we have the offenders list and like you can see everyone in the list publicly in the US.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that doesn't exist here in Japan. They're so big on like public shame and stuff sometimes that they need a system like that for sure.
So actually, sorry, there was another article that I had later in our notes. So from 2024. So the previous one was a couple years ago. So they did enact the law.
Oh, okay. Good.
So it seems that they will be doing background checks, but it goes into effect in 2026.
Too late.
Yeah. Expected to be implemented around fiscal 2026.
That's 2 years from now almost.
So, yeah. But like...
And we're not sure if that's like public information or if it's just like for teacher databases like schools.
For the people doing the hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be public.
I mean, I guess if they're...
And this is only for like educators?
That's true, huh? It's not even like for the general public. Yeah, it's just for people with a teaching license or whatever.
Oh, it says child-related work.
Okay.
So I think primarily education.
Yeah.
But...
And I hope like... nursing schools and kindergartens and stuff too. But I don't know, not to be like a pessimist or Debbie Downer, but I feel like if they're not saying from the start, like this should be public information and like it's probably not going to. And I can only imagine how many, because there's just a shortage of workers in Japan in general. I hate to think about, people who are doing the hiring in these schools, even though they have just the information, brushing it off or pretending like they didn't know, they didn't see it, they didn't use it. I don't know if it's going to be mandatory. They have to look through it or what, but like, yeah, I don't like, because it just sounds shady already. Like they're in the system, but you can still apply to jobs. You know what I mean? Like if you're in the system, you shouldn't, like you just shouldn't have a teaching license or shouldn't have the opportunity to apply to jobs that relate to child work in general. I don't know. I'm no expert in like policy making, but that's
we gotta get in touch with some lawmakers.
If you're like a lawyer or a lawmaker or anyone who's into policy like that, let us know because I don't personally know anyone in Japan specifically. That'd be such a good resource to have.
Yeah, because I think there was some discourse about like people wanting that list to be public because
why not?
Course.
Like especially for anyone planning to have kids or who have young kids, that's valid information to know. Like
yes, I would not want to send my children to school where there's a convicted offender.
Yeah, offender or anything, So even in the neighborhood too, I wonder like a little off topic. Have you ever opened the SO registry list in the US? Like, have you ever just...
No.
Dude, I did once. I made the mistake just out of curiosity. And so here's like my apartment building, right? It shows like where you are.
The offender.
The offender list. Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant by SO. And the amount of red dots, so that's like the offender. They show up as these like little dots. Right? You can see where they live. It's not like geo-tagged. Like it's not like them walking around. It's just like where their address is registered. The amount of red dots that were just so near me and how many of them. There was like 15, I think, in my neighborhood, which was nuts. So, yeah.
When did you look this up?
This was like back when I was in Hawaii in 2017, 16 or something. Yeah. I don't even know why I did that. But good I did, but wish I didn't kind of thing.
Yeah.
But moving on, we're going to talk about Chiba Prefecture, my home stomping grounds. Don't tell me the bad news.
Yeah, so I don't know why Chiba specifically, but this is from December of last year. Japan's Chiba Prefecture sees high number of teachers punished over sex crimes. So could you read it until here?
Yep, okay. So, a high number of teachers in East Japan's Chiba Prefecture have recently been slapped with disciplinary measures for sexual assault against their students or children. 12 teachers at public schools in the prefecture, 12 teachers at public schools in the prefecture, excluding municipal schools run by the city of Chiba and high schools run by other municipal governments, were handed disciplinary action for indecent acts or sexual harassment in the 2022 school year. This year, the number had already climbed to 10 as of the end of November. On December 4th, the Chiba District Court's Matsudo branch handed a 5.5-year prison sentence to a former teacher indicted for crimes indulging R-wording a girl aged 12 or younger. He had been fired in March. Presiding Judge Toshihiro Honma blasted the defendant's action, saying that he prioritized his own desires and exploited the victim's immature interest in relations. According to the ruling and other sources, the man who was teaching at an elementary school in the city of Nagoya essayed the girl at his home in Matsudo and other locations between November 22 and January 2023. The victim reportedly remained psychologically unstable due to the assault. Poor thing. That's another thing, like, what I noticed a lot.
5.5 years is not enough.
Like, what do you mean? You know, that's such a slap on the wrist. And, like, it's kind of endearing to see, you know, how close teachers and students are when it's like an appropriate relationship, right? Like, because if you notice, they do like kateihoumon, so they do home visits and stuff. Teachers like know where students live. They go to their students' home. Yeah. So it's like, I think it happens every semester, like once a year. So it kind of sucks for the teachers because you have to go, like, everyone in your homeroom, like, house by house to each student to check, like, which is kind of nice, like, check in on, you know, their home situation, if everything's okay, but, like, talk to the parents. But it's like, all very personal. I feel like too personal. I don't need my teacher to come to my house. Or, like, if I get a bad grade, I don't need my teacher to, like,
they did these meetings at school.
They do that, too, because they have, like, parent-teacher conferences, but then they also have these home visits. And maybe it depends on, like, maybe it's like an older thing. I don't know if they still do it, but like, or an inaka versus city thing, but.
Maybe it's an inaka thing. But again, I've never taught in public schools or like of that age. I've only taught at nursery school. So
this is my experience, like working in the inaka as a junior high school teacher. They had to like do these home visits. So anyway, what I'm getting at is, you know, after certain times, like, you trust your teacher to like be in your home because that's just so normalized to you. And so I'm sure like, you know, it kind of started off as like, like he's my teacher, like he's in my house, or like I go to his house because that's just like what you do. But it just led to all of that. And it's so sad. Like, F that dude, for real.
Yeah. The rest of the article is consulting with some like researcher at Nara University who studies like these types of cases. But like the stuff that she said really pissed me off.
Oh, really? Like, okay.
Yeah, at the end of the article.
Yeah.
The important thing is for teachers to see crime as something that anyone may commit. She added that violence by teachers could be prevented if those around them paid attention, such as checking whether a teacher is under excessive pressure.
No. Like,
no.
What do you mean? Like, excessive pressure? Like, he was, like, under a lot of pressure recently and we didn't notice. So, yeah, of course this thing is going to happen. No. Like, that's kind of what she's, like, insinuating, right?
Exactly. Like, I have been under a lot of pressure. No matter how much pressure I am under, never, ever has the thought crossed my mind to assault a child.
Yeah. Or anyone. Like, what do you mean, lady? Ooh, I don't really trust that lady either now. That's a wild take. That's a wild comment to make.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Oh, gross.
Let's see.
Oh.
Something from May this year. Teacher arrested for indecency on Tokyo Disneyland field trip.
Okay.
Chiba. Again, sorry.
Hey, well, yeah.
What's
Tokyo
going on in
Disneyland
Chiba?
actually exists in Chiba, for those if you didn't know. But yeah.
Okay. An elementary school teacher was arrested on Friday on suspicion of exposing his genitals and thrusting them toward a woman while leading a field trip at Tokyo Disneyland.
Oh, he was like at work. He was on duty.
Yes.
Oh, okay. What?
The 53-year-old man was restrained by the woman in her 20s as he tried to get away, and staff at the park informed police of the case, which occurred around 1:30 p.m. Right out there in public. He is a teacher for students with special educational needs at an elementary school in Yamanashi.
Okay.
So that is very worrisome because if he's teaching, being with like elementary school kids, but also like if he's teaching special needs kids as well, like they might be kids who can't speak up. Yeah,
who can't speak up or like just are unaware of like the severity of that situation. And like if he's doing that for like goofs and gaffs, who knows what he's doing to those kids because he knows maybe some of them can't speak up, like you just said.
Yeah.
But
that is the nasty. Article ends with the board apologized for the arrest at a press conference.
Okay.
So he was arrested, but who knows if he'd served time.
Yeah. At Disneyland too? Damn. Disney. You got some tamas on you. Okay.
Yeah. There was another old case that I found some discourse about a foreign Eikawa teacher in Fukuoka in the early 2000s.
Oh, back in the day. Okay.
Yeah, so he was like 69 or 70 years old,
and he ran his own Eikawa too. Okay.
Yeah. He was arrested and indicted on CP, child charges, allegedly taking pictures of naked young girls. The prefectural police suspected there were over 40 victims. So this I'm looking at Reddit because it's really old. It was in the early 2000s. But yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
And so he's in jail then.
Yeah.
Ew. And so he's like he admitted.
Trying to justify it.
Yeah, and he's justifying saying, she begged me to do it. Gross.
He invited schoolgirls into his house by holding lessons. He told them to keep it a secret because the parents may want him arrested.
Yeah.
No duh.
No, I think it says because your parents and the teacher may be arrested. So it's like if you tell anyone your parents are going to get arrested and I'm going to get arrested, do you want that? Do you want your parents to go to jail? Like I can totally see him saying something like that.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Yuck.
And that's like he's 70 or he was 70 at the time.
Yes.
And that's what he got caught for. Yes. So and if he's 70, he's probably spent a long time in Japan or just in general being an educator. So who knows how far back those crimes go, which is like, it's so foul. Okay.
And I mean, he probably did some of that stuff back home too.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. So that is the end of those essay type crimes. Yeah. But there was one more thing I found that just like pissed me off because there's a teacher not committing a crime, but like not doing their job.
Yeah.
So, teacher lost note on bullying of boy who apparently took his own life. So, trigger warning for unaliving. But yeah. In Gifu, a 14-year-old boy apparently jumped to his death from a condominium after suspected bullying at junior high school. This was 2019.
Yeah.
I think this was suggested when I was looking at the curry incident with the Kobe teacher being bullied.
Oh, really? I see.
The spicy curry thing.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
man.
So another student had passed a note to the homeroom teacher like that said, I think this kid is being bullied. And then apparently they do like wellness checks or something and like teachers had asked him about it and he was like, I don't think I'm being bullied. I'm okay. So they were like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. And then after he took his life, the Board of Education was looking into it and the homeroom teacher was like, oh yeah, I lost that note that the other student passed me. Like,
how can you lose it? I don't know. Like, did he? It sounds like he just said it so casual too. Like, oh yeah, I lost it. Maybe. Like, I would feel so guilty. I would probably, like, resign from being a teacher, or I would do, like, I don't know, like, volunteer work, do anything I could to, like, make up for such a bad mistake. I don't know. Like, it just sounds like he was like, whoops, well, it's not my fault, you know? Yeah. I don't know. It
just made me so sad because as teachers, you should also be advocates for your students. Like,
and
he was probably embarrassed about being bullied. So, of course, if you ask him, like, hey, are you being bullied?
Yeah. They're not going to admit it. Yeah. At least, you know, some of them, right? So, because you see, if you are familiar with, like, manga or, like, just Japanese dramas or, like, TV in schools, like, usually there is a bully or there's, like, scenes of bullying and stuff. And I used to think it was just, like, kind of an over dramatization. I kind of asked my boyfriend the other day, we saw something, and I was like, does that stuff really happen? Like, that's kind of nuts. And he's like, oh, no, like, it's real. Like, there were kids that in my school, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, what? You know? So it's so sad that it's not just in media, of course. These are real life situations, and it's really heartbreaking. But
we have a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Do you have a couple stories?
Oh, yeah. Just a personal story. I mean, we did read a lot of news articles about, you know, convicted criminals and everything like that.
People who were arrested.
People who were arrested and people who were just, like, being crazy. But speaking of just wild teachers and bad teachers, I've heard through the grapevine, I don't know what happened to them. But I came here on, like, an ALT program, and there was, like, some rumors in my town of, like, where I lived specifically, there was only, like, women, female ALTs that they hired, and I was kind of like, why are there no guys here? Like, why don't they hire, you know, male ALTs? And there was, like, through the grapevine of fellow ALTs, older teachers, and, like, their senpais and stuff, apparently there was one guy who, it was a pretty countryside, inaka, so we all had cars, and there was one teacher who hit a student and then just didn't report it. They fled the scene, but obviously this is the inaka, and, like, there was a witness, and, like, not security footage, but it was kind of like after school time. Like, there was enough people to notice. And also, you know, if in those inaka kind of towns, you're pretty, like, you stand out if you're like one of the only foreign ALTs there. And so I think he just got sent home. Like, I don't think there was any repercussion on his end. I don't think he, like, went to jail or whatever. I'm not sure.
Was the student okay?
Thankfully, they didn't, you know, die or anything. But yeah, I mean, but it's still bad, right? But I think his only punishment was to just be sent home. Not sure. Cannot confirm. But, like, yeah, I've heard cases of that hit and run. And then also in another prefecture from other ALT friends I've had. Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, one is already too common. But, like, there was another teacher who, this was, like, way more in the inaka. Like, it was kind of snowy too. No one around. They hit a student and, like, fled entirely. So that student was, like, out on the road alone for, like, a long time. And I am not sure if they passed or not. But yeah, those are just my personal stories I've heard through the grapevine of, like, bad teachers. And so, yeah, it's always better if it's an accident, of course. Yeah, it's always better to, like, say something and help and understand your actions, you know? Don't flee the scene. Like, come on, you know? Anyway, yeah, that was it. Of course, you know, I was going to, like, say a hot take about middle school teachers, you know, but I don't think it relates to this topic at all anymore. Okay. Actually, yeah, we can skip it.
Yeah. So I have never worked in a middle school or elementary school or anything, but one of my coworkers that I had before, she was an ALT before she worked at the kindergarten that we were at. But she said, like, she would hear comments from, like, the other foreign male teachers about, like, the junior high school girls, like, like, can't wait till she's 18, like, that kind of stuff.
Oh,
really
nasty.
Gross behavior. So,
did she report them?
If she did, I doubt anything would have come from it.
Yeah,
because making a comment is not illegal.
Yeah. And I think a common thing you guys have probably grasped onto after this episode is like, even when things are reported, there's so many things that just get brushed off or swept under the rug. So
yeah,
I don't know, if you're ever in that kind of situation, don't give up. Really, you know, be an advocate for the victim or whoever is being affected. So yeah, let's all be kind.
Yes.
I just wish we could all get along. But yeah, thank you for preparing those stories.
Sorry, this was kind of a depressing episode.
Yeah, this was a heavy one.
But just goes to show, you know, Japan has the same problems as everywhere else.
For sure. Very important to talk about and bring up. Yeah.
Maybe, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about next time. Maybe it'll be more pleasant. Maybe not.
Maybe not. We like to switch it up, but we'll see if there's any wacky tourists in the next week or so for us to bring up. But there are a couple of topics I want to talk about more so related to like TV and like Japanese reality shows and kind of bullying through that almost. But we'll see. But thank you for listening and watching.
And we will catch you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.